Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today's June 9th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. Quite a bit to go over today. It's kicking off hot and heavy. We're bombing Iran again. We have all of those details upon one of our Apache helicopters being shot down there in the Persian Gulf. We're going to cover all these details for you today. It's not looking good. It's looking horrific, actually. And this on the back of Trump claims peace deal with Iran imminent 38 times. We're on day 102 of the Iran war. There's early reports on these latest bombings that we're targeting public infrastructure, their water supply. We'll take a look at those reports. We got the ins, the outs, what led us to bombing Iran again. They're bombing them right now as I'm speaking. U.S. Central Command. We'll take a look at all of this insanity. We have technocracy news, police state news. We have economic news, geopolitical news, Epstein news. They're leveling Gaza. They're leveling Lebanon. The genocide there continues. All of that and much more on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. Thank you for joining us. I see a few people jumping online right now. I forgot to do my double. Oh, too late. Too late there. Well, thank you for joining us. All right, let's get to. We've got a lot of news to cover today, guys. Let's start with this day in history. We'll get to all this news. On this day of June 9th, we go back to the year 68. In the year 68, on this day, Roman Emperor Nero commits suicide, imploring his secretary to slit his throat to evade the Senate-imposed death by flogging. Maybe some of our... never mind. On this day in the year 641, Arabic Islamic army conquers Rome at Alexandria, taking control of Egypt. On this day in 1525, we saw a tax revolt in Hertgenbosch. Maybe we do need more tax revolts, that's for sure. On this day in 1549, the Book of Common Prayer is adopted by the Church of England. On this day in 1628, we saw the first deportation from what is now the United States. Thomas Morton is deported from Massachusetts, and we're not getting our mass deportations as Trump had promised. And no one of any significance has gotten in trouble for allowing the overrun of illegal aliens into this country in the first place. On this day in 1772, we saw the first naval attack of the Revolutionary War taking place in Providence, Rhode Island. Isn't that funny? All the way back in 1772, we're at war. We're at war today. 1790, on this day, we saw the first book copyrighted under the U.S. Constitution, the Philadelphia Spelling Book. On this day in 1860, we saw the first U.S. quote, dime novel published, Malaska, the Indian Wife of a White Hunter by Mrs. Anne S. Stevens. On this day in 1915, then U.S. President Woodrow Wilson sends second Lusitania note to Germany protesting sinking of the Lusitania and refuting German claim British blockade illegal. Also on this day, 1915, William Jennings Bryan resigns as U.S. Secretary of State. Take a hit, sitting government. You should all resign. You're complete and utter failures. On this day in 1923, American cash carrying company Brinks unveils the first armored security vans. On this day in 1931, we saw the first rocket-powered aircraft patent. First rocket-powered aircraft design patented by Robert Goddard. On this day in 1931. 1943 on this day, then U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signs the Current Tax Payment Act into law, requiring taxes to be withheld from workers' wages and paid directly to the federal government. And so right there, taxation theft, if you're a W-2 employee, you don't have a choice, but you do have a choice. But few people care to even care. You can put zero withholdings and not pay until the end of the year, until you have to file your taxes. And then you can even extend it further by filing an extension. You will pay penalties and interest, but that is one way to starve the war machine. Taxation's theft, bro. And we should actually have a tax revolt over this. And they're saying we got a report today in the economic section of the show. Social Security Administration says, yeah, it's not going to be funded. I forget that we got all the details. But yeah, the Ponzi scheme's coming to an end. Have fun having it directly withdrawn from your W-2 paycheck. Taxation's theft. On this day in 2013, Edward Snowden reveals himself publicly, makes his identity known as the leaker of the NSA documents. On this day in 2019, over 1 million people protest in Hong Kong against proposed new laws for extradition to China in one of the largest ever protests in the city. And then we had to have bat times. And so that shut those protests down, if you could remember that. And on this day, just 1 year ago in 2025, Freedom Flotilla, Madeline, carrying humanitarian aid to Gaza, is seized by Aardvark Land Navy. And the top activist there was Greta Thunberg. And so we do appreciate the efforts of the Aardvark Navy out there to deny any type of humanitarian aid to Gaza and go about abusing, and the latest flotilla fallout, abusing and raping the humanitarian aid activists. And so that is your Aardvark Land Army, Navy. It's the whole crew there. And so we do appreciate their efforts there in evil. And on this day in our civil liberties history, we go back to the year 1964. CIA pressures a publisher of second ever book on agency, the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. It was reported on this day, pressured the publisher of Invisible Government by David Wise and Thomas Powers, only the second book ever published on the CIA, to either make a number of changes or not to publish the book at all, claiming that it contained inaccuracies about CIA activity. Random House, the publisher, publicly denied any attempt to censor the book, but reports indicate the CIA did exert pressure regarding publication of the book. Invisible Government was far more critical of the CIA than the first book. Andrew Tully, CIA, The Inside Story, published in 1962. Prior to the publication of Invisible Government, there had been no books published critical of the agency and no serious investigations by mainstream news media. Shocking, I know, because the CIA went and bought them all and put their operatives in place. The American public did not learn the full story of the CIA's secret activities, and even then, not all of them, until the 1975-1976 investigations of the Senate Church Committee, established on January 27, 1975, and the House Pike Committee, established on February 29, 1975. And on this day in our civil liberties history, we go back to the year 1969. Brandenburg First Amendment protects advocacy of violence, but not incitement to intent lawless action. In Brandenburg versus Ohio, on this day, the Supreme Court overturned the conviction of Clarence Brandenburg, an Ohio Ku Klux Klan member convicted of violating the Ohio criminal syndicalism law for making extreme racist statements against African Americans and aardvarks. The court held that the First Amendment protected extremely offensive speech, except where there was a direct incitement to imminent lawless action. Justice Louis Brandeis had articulated this principle in his famous dissent in Whitney versus California, decided on May 16, 1927. The Brandenburg decision established the outer limits of First Amendment protection of political speech. And here's our segue to the news. Trump, of course, at the Game 3 NBA Finals last night. The New York Knickerbockers lost that game with the negative energy brought by Trump and his administration. Here he is with Howard Lutnick eating pizza, signaling that they eat children and drink their blood. A la Pizzagate is real. A la Epstein is real. A la these guys need to be in prison for life, but somehow they're running the country. Seriously, how's Lutnick not in prison, but he's the Commerce Secretary continuing to scam the American people? Here's Trump being booed at the NBA game last night. And they all lie. The MAGA lying criminals all say that these were cheers. You be the judge. I don't know. It sounds like booze to me, but lying MAGA spins it. Those were cheers. You just don't understand. No, we do understand. Trump's going to push it to the point he's universally hated because of his policies. Here's more booing of Trump there. Trump asleep. And so he caused this massive inconvenience for everybody there in New York. They canceled the watch parties, had to cordon off 6 city blocks, something like this, for security. So he inconvenienced everybody there by his presence, and then he falls asleep at the game. So there you go. Trump, a man of the people. And the White House is pushing QAnon psyops. It's just, or Q psyops, excuse me, anons out there. Q psyops. It's just bullshit. This is total and complete bullshit garbage. And everybody should be outraged by it instead of cheering this bullshit on. Here's the White House. Trust. Patriots are patriots in control. Bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. Trump doesn't give a damn about the American people, about this country, even for that matter. He cares about his own ego and his own profiteering is what this bastard cares about. And I don't care how many flags he wraps himself in. It's not going to change the fact that he's becoming universally hated. And only by the end of all this, there's going to be a small number of cult members that still love this bullshit, and the rest of the people are going to universally hate him, and he's bringing down the rest of the country with him. Here's a boxer. Is it De La Hoya? I think this is De La Hoya. I don't know. Yeah, it is De La Hoya. Talking about how Trump never misses an opportunity. Talking about personal profiteering off the back of America 250. He's literally destroyed the 250th anniversary of the country due to his own arrogance and profiteering. It's truly disgusting. The most divisive figure that this country's ever known, because he's an actor playing a role to divide the country up. It's truly disgusting what they're doing. The government and the media, which is essentially in large part one and the same. Here's De La Hoya slams corrupt Trump and Dana White over the UFC on the White House lawn.
What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great start to your week. A bunch of news dropped over the weekend, and I didn't want to wait until Thursday to talk about it. So I guess this is like an emergency clapback. So check it out. So the corruption is just fucking crazy with Zuffa and TKO. I tried to cover this when I went to Washington last month, but it runs deeper than I ever imagined, man. Look, Uncle Fester has been running his mouth about this stupid UFC event at the White House. Yeah, he's a fucking Neanderthal. We all know that. But Americans are fucking tired of his shit, and they're finally speaking up. A retired Air Force sergeant and a Vietnam War veteran, they filed a lawsuit to stop Uncle Fester and the UFC event from happening, stating that it's illegal. Illegal to stage a private, for-profit sports event on the White House grounds. Look, I agree with him. Oh, and it gets even more twisted. I mean, facts came out, check this one out. Facts came out that President Donald Trump, he bought $50,000 worth of TKO stock in March and then immediately started promoting the UFC event at the White House. I mean, he will benefit from the rising stock and sales of VIP packages to the event, which are priced at more than $1 million per. I mean, conflict of interest, anybody? Not to mention the disrespect to our country. They're using the Lincoln Memorial for the UFC press conference, which is a slap in the face to every American soldier who fought for this country. They're using these sacred monuments to promote a for-profit event, which will benefit the president and his buddies. Look, I'll give you all the details on Thursday. Plus, on a new lawsuit filed against Zuffa from another promoter. Hell, maybe even I'll file a lawsuit before.
Even friggin' Oscar De La Hoya, a professional boxer with probably CTE and brain damage, can figure it out. But idiot MAGA can't figure it out. That's literally where we're at here now. I saw reports of this last night, but just officially acknowledged this morning by Trump and everybody. I've just been informed by our great military that last night the Iranians shot down one of our highly sophisticated Apache helicopters while patrolling over the Strait of Hormuz. There were 2 pilots involved, but both are safe and uninjured. Nevertheless, the United States must of necessity respond to this attack. And so, yeah, we're bombing Iran right now as we're live here. And so Iran shouldn't have the Strait of Hormuz around our Navy and our Apache helicopters. An Iranian Shahed drone, as in the thumbnail here, this is alleged by CNN to have been what hit our Apache helicopter and took it down. There's reports out there it was an Aardvark Land false flag on our Apache. I don't know about that. Did they even need to do it? Did they even need to do a false flag? You keep poking Iran, poking Iran, poking Iran. They're going to fight back, bro. Trump claims Iran peace deal imminent for 38th time as promised breakthrough fails to materialize again. $38 times, and it's all to rig the markets. It's the war profiteer. Okay, it's for him and his crew to war profiteer off our backs and off the backs of dead Iranians. Asked whether the United States might help rebuild Iran afterward, Trump replied, yeah, comparing it to a Marshall Plan, before adding, but we'll get half their oil. That was in a comment Trump made to ABC News. What does Iran have to say about all this? Well, their foreign minister, Odysee, says foreign forces in proximity to our territory are at constant risk on account of their own human errors, plane accidents, and potentially being caught in crossfire. To reduce risk, best solution is for them to leave. We prefer language of diplomacy, but speak other languages too. Here's this post. And so again, but Iran built their country around all of our military bases, around our Navy. And so this is the issue here now. I understand Iran's a sovereign country, but they just don't seem to understand the American hegemony, do they? U.S. strikes southern Iran as Iran vows response. It's heating up right now. U.S. forces launch strikes against Iranian air defenses and radar installations in southern Iran a few hours ago, with U.S. Central Command confirming the operation was carried out under direct orders from Trump. A U.S. official told Al Jazeera and the war channel Fox News the strikes are ongoing. Trump told ABC News, we will respond to the downing of the Apache helicopter. Iran vowed an immediate response. An Iranian official told Al Jazeera the Apache was not flying over international waters, disputing the U.S. justification. To Sam News cited Iranian sources saying Tehran will give a definitive response to the U.S. aggression carried out under the pretext of the Apache helicopter crash. Arabic news outlets say the highest alert level has been issued at U.S. military bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE, and Qatar. Leave our region if you want to be safe. That's what Iran's saying. We'll get to CENTCOM's comment here. They say it's self-defense. The heck's CENTCOM? I saw some more reporting here. Well, let's get back to yeah. I guess there's going to be a back and forth. Competing claims over the downed U.S. Apache as Iran denies responsibility. But they kind of they're like, you know what I mean? A U.S. Army AH-64 Apache helicopter went down near the coast of Oman while patrolling the Strait of Hormuz last night, with both crew members rescued within 2 hours by an unmanned drone boat. The cause remains disputed, with 4 conflicting accounts now emerging. So we're going to sort all this out, maybe, possibly. Trump said on Truth Social that Iran shot down the helicopter and that the U.S. must respond. The IRGC claimed its Navy speedboat fired on the aircraft after it ignored warnings. Iran's deputy foreign minister told Al Jazeera earlier today that Iran was not responsible and that there was no deliberate targeting, adding that incidences could occur unintentionally given the tense atmosphere in the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM said that the cause is under investigation. The Apache is the first of its kind lost since the U.S.-Iran war began on February 28th. U.S. forces have recently been pushing Apaches increasingly close to Iranian-controlled islands in the strait as part of an aggressive patrolling posture. Did Aardvarkland shoot down our helicopter in a false flag? I don't know. It's under investigation, according to U.S. Central Command. Trump now appears to be downplaying the earlier helicopter incident, saying it wasn't a big deal and stressing the pilot is fine. That was Wall Street Journal earlier today. Obviously, that has turned into bombing Iran. Aardvarkland ministers, according to a report out of I-24 News, clashed in a cabinet meeting yesterday over how to escalate against both Iran and Hezbollah. Foreign Minister warned Hezbollah was trying to draw Aardvarkland into a war of attrition. Minister Elkin said Aardvarkland had managed to strike Iran without visibly undermining ongoing U.S.-Iran negotiations. Minister Strzok argued that territorial pressure remained the most effective lever against Hezbollah. They understand when you take their territory, he said. That's what all this is about. Yeah, they understand. The meeting grew more contentious when National Security Minister Ben-Gvir proposed detaining Hezbollah members' wives and youth in dedicated prisons. That's what hurts them. That's what hurts them the most, he said. Former Shin Bet chief Avi Ditcher called for harder strikes on Iran in the next round. Minister Wassler Floof demanded more munitions funding, calling out Finance Minister Smotrich. Smotrich needs to open the purse strings and wake up. Defense Minister Katz backed urgent expansion of IDF ammunition stockpiles. I think you don't got to push Smotrich much to fund the war effort. I mean, that's laughable at this point. So, yeah, it's not looking good. U.S. Central Command said forces began launching self-defense strikes self-defense strikes against Iran at 5 p.m. Eastern time today at the Commander-in-Chief's direction in response to yesterday's downing of the U.S. Army Apache helicopter. The mission is a proportional response to unjustified Iranian aggression. Again, move your damn country, Iran, because you're in our way. Iranian parliamentary speaker Ghalibaf, in an audio message to the Iranian people, said, "From day one, the enemy sought to finish the system within 3 days by assassinating the leader of the revolution and the military commanders, but failed. They then moved to eliminate the country's offensive capabilities, but over time saw that missile and drone strikes continued. Next, they attempted to turn Iran into a situation like Venezuela, but failed again. They then tried to activate separatist groups in the west of the country, which also failed due to efforts of military and intelligence forces. After months of planning and targeting security bases during the war, they designed a coup attempt timed with the Chaharsh and B. Shuri Festival of Fire celebrations, but the Iranian people responded in a unified manner and dealt them a heavy blow. The enemy sought to insert forces into the country and tested this plan in Isfahan, but it turned into what he described as a Tabish 2 failure. Each of these plans could have brought down a country, but the Iranian nation, relying on divine support, defeated them all. This failure of the enemy had a socio-political foundation, and without it, no success would have been possible. And that was the cohesive and active presence of the people. However, the enemy has entered a new phase and seeks through a naval blockade and media pressure to activate economic pressure and internal divisions in order to weaken or even collapse the country from within. Trump explicitly divides the country into hardliners and moderates, then immediately speaks of a naval blockade to force Iran into submission through economic pressure and internal division. The solution to confronting this new plot is only one thing: maintaining unity from the beginning. Until now, unity has neutralized all enemy plots. And today, its importance is even greater. Any divisive action falls directly within the enemy's new plan. As someone present in the field, I tell the Iranian people that we officials all follow the directives of the supreme leader of the country, and he is our authority and the deputy of the awaited imam. Our worldly and spiritual well-being lies in obeying his directives. But assured that we, with complete unity between military and political offices, are moving forward, and the access of our unity is the directives of the leader. Based on my understanding of the Iranian people, I say that by God's grace, these people will defeat this deceptive plan of the enemy as well, and we will achieve a clear victory in this war, fulfilling the divine promise and another victory that you love, help from Allah, and a near conquest. So give glad tidings to the believers. A report out of Tassim News, and it was this guy, Ghalibaf, and they're talking about assassinating him continually. So they may whack that dude at any time. And so this is a war crime if confirmed. U.S. strike on Surik reportedly hit 2 water reservoirs in the Bam Annie district, cutting off the area's drinking water supply. That's reported out of Iran, IRIB. I guess we need confirmation, but targeting civilian infrastructure, straight up war crime. So now we're doing war crimes. We're not the good guys in this. I'm sorry to report to you here now, especially targeting civilian infrastructure. That's straight up war crime. A key obstacle to an Iran deal has been Trump's shifting demands and frustration with the negotiation process. I thought he's art of the deal. There's not a deal he can't make. Bullshit. Trump's a lying war criminal. According to mediators, Trump has been frustrated by his inability to speak directly with Iran's supreme leader, Khomeini, and by Tehran's slow pace of negotiations. They say he has repeatedly changed terms that his own team had already discussed with Iranian officials. In the first round of talks after the April ceasefire, Trump's envoys, Witkoff and J.D. Vance, reportedly proposed a deal under which Iran would suspend uranium enrichment for 10 years. Iranian officials say they accepted that framework, only for Trump to later demand a 20-year suspension, helping derail the talks. More recently, while negotiators waited for Khomeini's response to a draft agreement, Trump reportedly added new conditions related to Iran's nuclear program and access to frozen assets, further deepening Iranian mistrust of the negotiations. That's a report of the failing New York Times there. And here's we'll have a peace deal there someday. Here's J.D. Vance on one of these Mockingbird Sunday shows earlier in the week.
You say very close. How soon? Could the deal happen before the midterm elections?
Oh, absolutely. No, I think we're going to know a lot before the midterm elections. Look, I think that the deal could happen in the next week, but the deal could also happen months from now.
Just put up a sign, I'm full of shit. You know what I mean? Because that's where we're at. As Trump claims Iran peace deal imminent for the 38th time. Just wear a shirt. Put it on your t-shirt. I'm full of shit. And people are dying because of it. Report out of Aardvark land, Tel Aviv. Residents are blunt about the latest Iran Aardvark land exchange. We basically lost, they said. So you got big anti-Semitic hate inside of Aardvark land via Tel Aviv. Let's watch this video. Maybe they should be put with the, I don't know, Lebanese. How dare these Aardvarks speak out and tell their opinion about the situation going on there.
They're not winning for 2 years already. Almost 3.
The Israelis, the people of Israel are losing for sure. No one slept. Kids aren't in schools. Who's at work? All of the restaurants that are usually busy are empty.
These 12 hours of missiles are a waste of time for us. We didn't get anything out of that. The Iranian got what they want, which is create an equation between Lebanon and Tel Aviv. So basically now Israel is locked in terms of Lebanon and locked in terms of Iran. So we basically lost.
For sure we didn't win, but we are not winning for 2 years already. Almost 3. That's winning. Having every 6 months having a little bit of missiles from Iran.
I think also the Israelis, the people of Israel are losing for sure. No one slept. Kids aren't in school.
Joe Blows everywhere are losing. Joe Blow Aardvarks, Joe Blow Lebanese, Joe Blow Iranians, Joe Blow Americans, Joe Blow Palestinians. We're all losing over here, bro. For these bastards, the war profiteer. And we'll get to the bigger geopolitical ramifications in the economic section of the show. China's preparing to invest roughly $295 billion in data center construction over the next 5 years, according to a report out of Bloomberg. Anthropic has released Claude Fable 5, a Mythos-class model. So they rolled out their latest, greatest here now. And the White House is pushing technocracy, AI, like nothing we've ever seen before, because we're in a Cold War race with China. God forbid China have a better little compute machine than us. Here's Melania Trump about the first presidential AI challenge. More than 20,000 students participated across all 50 states, plus DC, Puerto Rico, and 49 at Department of War schools in 10 countries around the world. And we're just beginning.
The first presidential AI challenge was broadly welcome across our nation. More than 20,000 students participated across all 50 states, plus the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and 49 Department of War schools in 10 countries around the world. And we are just at the beginning. Artificial intelligence gives our communities access to the largest amount of information ever recorded in humanity's history. This fundamental democratization of intellect will profoundly alter society.
What a load of shit. Democratization of intellect. They're going to use it for power and control and our enslavement. Fat Bob over there said the beautiful people right there. This one, though, Fat Bob said, Fat Bob's on a roll today. Where's that one? He says, where's the one? I just saw it. I have to tune in. It's time to start drinking, Fat Bob. Let me tell you, this is one of those days. Where the heck is it? He said, oh, where is it? Now I can't even find it. I could have swore I saw what you have to tune in because you know how bad it is, but there's just something that you have to know. I hear you. I'm burnt on all of this, man. All of the corruption and all the idiots, all the idiot Americans that love it. Guess what? Who wins an election? The government, bro, every single time. So just save it with all your puppet politicians, all the stupid bullshit. How much time, effort, energy is wasted on this bullshit elections democracy? We got in the great reformer Trump. Not jack has changed. Things have gotten substantially worse. If that was even possible, well, it is. Since the Biden administration here now. We're in a race with China. So you have nothing. Give your children, your water, your animals, your freaking food. Give it all to AI surveillance centers because we have to beat China.
We are in a race with China on AI. And Dina, we have this picture of you in Beijing. You traveled with the president last month as part of the president's U.S.-China summit delegation. I want to get your take on that. What struck you most about being on the ground in China with President Trump, watching that meeting between Trump and Xi Jinping?
Well, first of all, it was an honor to join President Trump and an incredible group of CEOs in Beijing for a critical meeting between the president of China and our president. For me, it was actually also very special, Maria, because 9 years ago, I had been on the trip when President Trump went for his first time as president to Beijing. I was serving as Deputy National Security Advisor at the time. And what really struck me just a few weeks ago being there is that while there are many similar issues on the agenda that we had, trade and other issues that President Trump has spoken strongly about, there wasn't as much talk as Mike is saying about AI, obviously 9 years ago.
Yeah.
The agenda today, what the business leaders that were on that delegation were talking about, was all AI. And put very, directly, if we want to win in this race with China, we have to win in a few critical areas. Not just energy, not just infrastructure, but people and talent. And that's what this program, America's...
God, I hate these people, man. I gotta pray on it, because they're putting hate back in my heart. The same way I hated people during COVID, it's coming back for these people, man. I got to pray on it and get this hate out of my heart, because I'm really feeling hate, and it brings me down. Free Thought Project, Jason Bassler says in a post on the X, he says, quick reality check. We got to stop calling them data centers. We need to start calling them what they really are: mass surveillance facilities designated to funnel 99.7% of us into a digital prison long before 2030 gets here. We're on the 2030 clock too, by the way, because we have to fulfill Agenda 2030, Goals for Sustainable Development. We should not lose sight of the larger one world government agenda here now. And then, what can we do? They make us feel so powerless. Well, vote with your wallet, vote with your dollar. We still have that. Don't give companies engaging in technocratic tyranny your business. That's nonviolent, peaceful way here now. Home Depot, they got scanners, flock cameras set up. Again, Jason Bassler. Home Depot, the only place where buying a light bulb gets your face scanned like you're a suspect, and your car's license plates tracked like a fugitive, facial recognition at checkout, flock cameras in the parking lot. Boycott Home Depot, vote with your wallet. And I say that across the board. Get out of the big banks. Get out of the big banks. Put your money in a local credit union. There's many, many things that if everybody did it, things would change. And voting for the next puppet politician ain't one of them. More on this. Here's some video of the black helicopters there in Southern California. U.S. Army Delta Force seen through hotel balcony conducting drills, live fire training drills there in Long Beach, California, a few days ago. Here's those black helicopters. Some good video of it. Yeah, they're doing live fire training drills there in Southern California. Reported on from the City of Industry. They have a bunch of they have training bases all over the place, but they did it in civilian populated area. They're preparing the population for live martial law. Public health news now. They tell us, the Department of Health and Human Services, they're rolling out hospital pricing transparency. Now, for years, hospitals kept Americans in the dark about the true cost of care. Families made medical decisions without knowing the price, and too often got hit with bills that drained their savings. That ends now. They tell us that is the model of Rockefeller medicine system. They don't say that. Let's hear from both these guys, by the way, are all up in the Epstein files.
Kennedy Jr., your HHS secretary. I'm joined today by CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz. For years, Americans have walked into hospitals with no idea what their care would cost and walked out with medical bills that wiped out their savings. That ends now. Under President Trump's leadership, HHS is finally getting serious about hospital price transparency. The goal is simple: make healthcare more affordable by giving every American the ability to shop for care, compare prices, and make informed decisions before they set foot in a hospital. Price should never be a surprise. Cost should never be a barrier.
Since President Trump's first term, every hospital in America has been required to post their prices online publicly in a format anyone can access, showing what the hospital actually charges for every service it provides. Unfortunately, the Biden administration did not enforce these rules. It even told hospitals they could get away with ballpark estimates, not real prices. Immediately after returning, President Trump told us to fix that. So last year, Secretary Kennedy and I worked on regulations to get the real prices to you, the American people. We want to make it easy for you to compare hospital prices against other hospitals nearby so that you can get the best care for you and your family. But you can't do that if hospitals aren't complying.
Stay out of their system entirely. Don't take their drugs. That's a big one. I wanted to replay this one from yesterday because this is key. They want to put a brain chip in everybody. Again, this is Nicholas Holster, leading up the McCullough Institute. This is key to technocracy. The brain chips. Now,
they're working on brain chips. Nokia's CEO said the smartphone as we know it by 2030 is going to be implanted literally in our bodies. And so they're going to install these artificial intelligence systems into our bodies, and it will be linked to 6G infrastructure, not 5G anymore. Trump signed an executive order a few months ago to accelerate the deployment of 6G, and in that order, it literally says one of the goals is to operate implantable technologies. So these brain chips and other AI devices will interface with 6G infrastructure. They're big cellular, big tech. They basically have a golden ticket to do whatever they want. And this is very, very dangerous. And people will go along with it, unfortunately. People are easily tricked, as we've seen in the past 5 years. But I will not go for it. I'm not going to take any sort of biological implant.
we're going to get to, if you don't have the brain chip, you're considered a terrorist by this criminal government. That's where all this is heading. It's plain as day. A little bit on the mass deportations we're not getting. The Trump administration is focused on protecting our nation, they tell us, and our citizens by upholding the highest standards of national security and public safety through our visa process. A U.S. visa is a privilege, not a right. Every visa adjudication is a national security decision. The State Department tells us, this is a report from yesterday, I didn't get to it. This is out of CBS News. Trump administration launches largest ever effort to denaturalize U.S. citizens accused of fraud and other crimes. And so the headline sounds like, oh, wow. And then you read the story. The Trump administration on yesterday, announced it is seeking to revoke the citizenship of 17 U.S. citizens accused of immigration fraud, expanding its unprecedented denaturalization campaign. 17 of them. That's their mass deportation that we're getting. A federal judge declared a $100,000 fee that President Trump imposed on new H-1B visas for highly skilled foreign workers is unlawful and must be invalidated, according to a report out of Reuters yesterday. And then that, I guess that the Bavino Nazi dude, if you remember him, leading the assault on American citizens in Minnesota. Remember that dude? He I guess they're floating the idea maybe he's going to run for puppet politician as he retired as a Nazi enforcer of the Trump administration. Bavino was saying yesterday there's 100 million illegal. Who knows what the number is? We don't even know. There's a lot. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill funding ICE and Customs and Border Protection for the rest of President Trump's term. $70 billion funding the racketeering operation they've created there now out of our immigration enforcement. And we're still not going to get mass deportations, but they're going to profiteer off of all of this, as we've seen. All right, we're at the end of that section. Let's go ahead and take our live commercial break now a little bit early, because we're going to move into the Epstein reporting section next. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. We're bombing the hell out of Iran right now. It looks like it's going to escalate. Not good. Not good. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. Go to weaponizednews.com/shop. Get yourself a holograph sticker for Pride Month. You can see all the colors of the rainbow there in the Weaponized News holograph sticker. We have the white background sticker as well, and we have the clear background sticker. All three stickers are available at weaponizednews.com/shop. Get yourself a baseball cap, coffee mug, t-shirt, shot glass. As we're told on the chats, this show may induce bouts of heavy drinking. So we do have Weaponized News shot glass at the shop for you. weaponizednews.com/shop. Go check it out. Get some merchandise over there. We got books, a few other items you may enjoy. Give us a donation if you don't feel like purchasing any products. Buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, Cash App links all in the description below this video. We take donations. Become a paid subscriber of Weaponized News Substack. We give away everything free here. Nothing behind a paywall. Help support independent reporting and analysis, brought to you 5 days a week, broadcasting live, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern time. Become a paid subscriber of Weaponized News Substack. You get the full show there. I believe we're streaming live on Substack now. You get a summary of the show. You get links to almost everything we talk about for documentation and further research purposes over there at Weaponized News Substack channel. And I do appreciate the paid subscribers. Give me that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. All that's free. Become a paid subscriber. Weaponized News Substack. Become a patron to the store, weaponizednews.com/shop. Become a donor and show your support for independent reporting and analysis at Buy Me a Coffee, Bitcoin Wallet, Cash App. All those links are in the description below. Many ways to support this show. We do truly appreciate everybody out there supporting our efforts to try to give you some honest, accurate reporting in the sea of never-ending propaganda and lies that's out there. So help support independent reporting and analysis here at Weaponized News. Thank you for your attention to that matter, a la Trump. And bearing with that commercial break, welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this Tuesday, June 9th, 2026 edition, as we're bombing the hell out of Iran as I speak. On to Epstein reporting. They rolled out the Trump Epstein reading room mobile tour is now in Washington, D.C., literally the district of criminals and child molesters. That's our nation's capital. Here's a short video where they say in their posting, the Trump Epstein reading room, D.C., we've arrived, they say. All along with all 3.5 million pages of publicly released Epstein files, the DC reading room opens today. Reserve your spot. Here's a short video they put out. There you go. The Donald J. Trump, Jeffrey Epstein reading room. Or you can simply search. You can simply search, and I provide the link every show to. You can simply go to justice.gov/Epstein and take a look. And all your favorite criminals are in there. They're now also known as your government. Some new Epstein reporting today. Epstein's assistant tells Congress she knew nothing about his crimes. I know nothing. I believe her for one. No, not so much, huh? An assistant of Jeffrey Epstein's told members of the House Oversight Committee earlier today that she was unaware of his crimes, but that he was a master manipulator. Leslie Groff, Epstein's then executive assistant, told the House Oversight Committee that she believed the massage appointments she made for Epstein with young women and girls were with massage therapists. I can see how you can make that mistake. She said Epstein had every reason to keep his crime secret from her. Groff helped manage Epstein's life, including making appointments with women, setting meetings with powerful people, and arranging Epstein's flights with the young women. She worked for Epstein for nearly 20 years, and her name is listed in the Epstein files more than 150,000 times. She knew nothing. She knew nothing. Groff told the Oversight Committee that she wants to help, and that since Epstein was arrested, she's lost friends and her family has faced harassment, but she knows nothing. Politico reports here now, long time Epstein assistant, the same broad, Groff, Leslie Groff, longtime Epstein assistant, says she set up phone calls between Epstein and Trump. Let's play a little bit of this report about it from CNN.
Epstein told the House Oversight Committee today she did not know about his crimes over the 18 years that she worked for him. Leslie Groff has been undergoing several hours of questioning behind closed doors, the 14th witness in the House Epstein investigation. Sources tell CNN that Groff described Epstein as a master manipulator who believed the massage appointments she made for him with young women and girls were massage therapists. The Epstein files released by the Justice Department show Groff helped manage every aspect of Epstein's life, and one House Oversight Committee member noted that Groff was doing so during and after Epstein's plea deal in 2008 on prostitution.
I didn't even know he made a plea deal. There you go. Shout out to Wretched Goy. I think you're new there on the Rumble chat. Yeah, he gets it. And that's what I couldn't think of, but yeah, Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing. Oh, man, she didn't even know he was arrested. Great personal assistant. I believe her for one. The failing New York Times, Bill Gates said to have hired ex-oversight chief to advise on Epstein testimony. Why is this guy still walking free? Honestly, I know he was our doctor. He saved everybody's life during the bad times, but man, he's such a sex abuser, such a freak. Like, dude, he even caused his own wife, right? Fellow eugenicist, transhumanist, Melinda Gates, to leave him. So you got to be some kind of freak, which he is, right? Constantly cooking up schemes about how to save the world, but first he has to destroy the world before he can save it. Bill Gates, the Microsoft co-founder, has retained Jake Greenberg, the former top investigative counsel to the House Oversight Committee. They're going to tell him how to lie to Congress. You can't even make this stuff up, man. It's just like, throw his ass in jail already. It's so tiresome. How many crimes against humanity does Bill Gates have to do? Apparently it's unlimited, as with all of the 0.0001%, whatever the hell you want to call them, dark occultist, Satanists, evil assholes. Apparently they're all above the law. That's what we're coming to learn and know and love now. And so he's hired Greenberg to go ahead and train him up how to lie. In his deposition, he said to give to the House Oversight Committee in regards to Epstein. It'd be nice if they investigate him. Why are you doing all these crazy genetic experiments, the miracles, and just all of this insanity? What is your interest? We understand you're this great philanthropist that loves the world, but what is your interest in funding all of this medical research? You know what I mean? I think we already know, but it would be nice if we had got him on record, right? Under oath in some type of, do we have oversight over psychopaths trying to, depopulate everybody? Kind of a big deal, you would think, but yeah, not so much. Not so much to Congress. And so here's a perfect example why Trump's a piece of shit. Nancy Mace, and I want to like her, but I just can't like any politicians. But Nancy Mace, she's done a lot to expose and bitch about and complain. And Congresswoman out of South Carolina, she did a good job exposing, 357, something like this, of Congress voted against making public their sexual harassment slush fund. She made that public, brought a vote, forced them to be on record who's for it and against it. So doing pretty good, actually, of all the corrupt politicians out there. Nancy Mace, she also voted to release the Epstein files. Now she's lost Trump's endorsement over it. And so that proves right there, Trump's a piece of shit. If you need any more evidence, Nancy Mace says Epstein files push cost her Trump endorsement. Trump endorsement is turning into an albatross around your neck that you don't even want your enemies to have. We're getting there very fast. Let's hear from Nancy Mace now. She has done a lot of good work exposing a lot of corruption.
I knew it was on the line when I voted to release the Epstein files, and I'm a survivor. If the price to pay for an endorsement was to not release those files, I would never pay it. So I knew it was on the line, and I disagree with this endorsement, and I'm going to vote for myself. I'm asking voters in South Carolina to vote for me as well on Tuesday. And I mean, we're crushing it right now.
So who were they? I can't even remember off the top of my head. The 4 Republicans, I can't even remember now. But anyway, Trump's a piece of shit child molester. It's beyond the pale of disgusting. Here's the Epstein files. Everybody should go check it out. I did 2 blockbuster shows when they first came out with William Ramsey doing deep dives into the files. Everybody should go look at those shows. But Again, do your own research. There it is. The biggest cover-up in American history. The Department of Justice continues to cover up. There are all kind of different estimates. They got a, and where are again? Where's the real blackmail that Epstein had on all of these corrupt assholes? The government, the FBI has it. That needs to be made public, and these people need to be prosecuted as Epstein co-conspirators in murder. I mean, go to every frigging crime on the books these people are guilty of at this point. Straight up murder, straight up rape, straight up child molestation. The worst crimes that are on the books. That's what the DOJ is covering it up, and now Trump's personal attorney, Todd Blanche, has been appointed attorney general. He's acting interim. We'll see if he gets confirmed through the Senate. Probably will, because probably covering up for a bunch of them too. MAGA looks the other way. It's truly disgusting, the level of corruption we're at in this country. Segue to the economic section. Trump family got about $500 million from crypto venture, but investors saw steep losses. There you go. Company disclosures show the Trump family was entitled to roughly $500 million from a 2025 crypto transaction between World Liberty Financial and the publicly traded company then called Alt 5 Sigma. Alt 5 Sigma stock has fallen more than 90% since just before the deal was announced. The company, now called AI Financial Corp, has warned investors about its ability to continue as a going concern. So he just did a giant scam, pump and dump scheme on you and stole all your money. But hell, Trump family made $500 million. Are you un-American? Are you a damn Iranian? You should cheer this on, as the MAGA clapping seals do. Ethics watchdogs and former regulators said the SEC should investigate the company over issues of its corporate disclosures and potential conflicts of interest arising from its relationship with the president's family. You think? The White House has said no comment and no wrongdoing. No, I added that, but they did say no comment. We didn't know we were stealing $500 million. An Indian billionaire was targeted by Trump. Then he poured money into a startup secretly backed by Donald Trump Jr. ProPublica reports here. And so they're as corrupt as the day is long. And they're telling, Joe Biden, 10% for the big guy, and Burisma with Hunter Biden, all that corruption. They're saying, hold my beer, bro, because we got some real corruption here. And so, yes, again, for those confused out in the audience, Biden bad, Trump bad, government bad. It's an organized crime syndicate. And these puppets are profiteering off of our blood, sweat, and tears here now. An obscure Texas firm secretly connected to the president's son said it received at least $100 million from Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Industries. At the same time, the Ambani family secured major policy wins from the Trump administration. It's pay to play. Put a Biden mask on. Same deal. Because your government is corrupt beyond recognition. And I don't care what puppet you put there. And let's go through the details in this report. Yeah, pay to play. Pay to play. We're going to put the eye on you, Mr. Indian businessman of questionable background. But hey, pay us $100 million and we send the eye looking over there. And that's exactly what they did here. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. According to the Washington Compost, Social Security shortfall expected to accelerate with funds at critical low in 2032. And so they come out with these reports every, year, 6 months? I don't know. The shortfall will be driven in part by a drop in immigration and Trump's tax cuts, trustees say, resulting in trimmed benefits. So that's your FICA, right? If you're a W-2 employee, they're pulling it directly out of your paycheck. You have no freaking choice. And talk about a scam. They're literally saying, we're stealing your money now. Good luck with getting your benefits, which is the money we stole from you in the first place, called Social Security. Good luck getting it in the future. It's set to run out in 2032. And they keep moving the time frame up as well. Every time one of these reports comes out from the Social Security Administration, the timeline gets shorter and shorter. But keep on contributing to the Ponzi scheme there now. So Peter Thiel, as we continue to report here now, has taken his gay family and moved to Argentina with the self-declared biggest Zionist president in the world, Milei there. Argentina moves to legalize non-human corporations run by AI. Keep AI unregulated is the push there. And so, yeah, the technocracy is going to rape Argentina now with the backing of Javier Milei, the great libertarian hero, anarcho-capitalist, who turns out a Zionist transhumanist that's going to rape the Argentinian people. Figuratively, probably literally too, but figuratively, with the backing of Peter Thiel and the whole technocracy crew there. Iran's allocation of fan tickets for the group stage of the World Cup has been revoked just days before the start of the tournament, says the company's football federation and the BBC. I was reading a little bit about some scheme. When Iranian soccer players come to America, they're not even going to let them stay the night. They're going to kick them out and make them go back to Mexico the same day of the game because they're damn terrorists. FIFA faces empty seats as 180,000 World Cup tickets hit the resale market, according to a report out of the Financial Times. And they keep pushing soccer on America. America doesn't like soccer, bro. Sorry to tell you. But it's a giant racketeering, elitist, human trafficking event as well. With just days left, the U.S. opening match at a World Cup is still not sold out. Because FIFA is a giant racketeering operation. And America doesn't like soccer, no matter how much they try to ram it down our throats. So I hope they don't do a false flag at the World Cup, honestly. It looks like they're setting up some type of biological. Maybe they'll just do a straight up terrorist attack. Who knows what these maniacs have planned? But I sincerely hope they don't do a false flag attack at the World Cup. And there's a lot of signs saying, well, we know that's in their deck of cards. Will they lay that card down here now? I don't know, but it's definitely a possibility. And more on Trump profiteering off the back of America. The Trump family is selling $12,000 Freedom 250 themed coins to commemorate the White House lawn cage fight. Here it is. It's not just this one, though. Here's the site. Trump coins crafting American legacy. We can't afford groceries out here, bro, and you're selling us this bullshit? The official gold and silver of UFC Freedom 250. I thought we were celebrating the 250th anniversary of America's independence from the crown. And Trump has turned it into his personal profiteering machine. It's just so disgusting, divisive. So here are your choices of offerings. UFC Freedom 250 Trump coins. For the poors out there, like you and I, you could pay $250 there for a 1 ounce UFC silver medallion. Is it even real precious metal? At this point, I wouldn't doubt if it's a tungsten, right? That's what Strong talks about. What is it? Strong's a big Bitcoin guy. I don't know if I'm so much on board with Bitcoin anymore after researching. Anyhow, yeah, that is out there. They do the scam where they put tungsten in the gold, right? And so I do believe that is a real scam out there. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump's scamming on these coins and they're not even whatever purification of precious metals. Anyhow, you get this fancy 5 ounce coin, silver, $1,324.99, and then the 1 ounce of gold. 1 ounce of gold, $12,000. What a scam! Spot price of gold, and it's been going way down. Let me just check here quickly. The spot price of an ounce of gold bullion is $4,205, and it's fluctuating, trading overseas right now. But you could say $4,200, right? They're selling it for $12,000, and you get this bullshit Trump signature on it. What a racket, man. Maybe, I highly doubt it, maybe sometime in the future it would have some numismatic value, but by that time the world will universally hate Trump, as the world already does, but America will come to learn, and this will be worthless. Maybe you can melt it down, and I don't even want to say 1/10 of an ounce for $1,500 right there. It's just the level of corruption here in our face, beyond the pale. It's truly beyond the pale. We can't afford groceries, bro. They don't want us flying. They don't want us traveling. They want us locked in they want everybody to take a brain chip and be a battery, a la the Matrix, to fuel their surveillance centers. U.S. airline fuel costs surged 78%. According to a report out of the Associated Press, U.S. airlines spent nearly $6.5 billion on jet fuel in April, up 78% from $3.6 billion a year earlier, despite consuming slightly less fuel, according to the Bureau of Transportation Statistics data. So Rockefeller oil oligarchs are profiteering handsomely off the back of this Iran war. And now I have to walk and ride a bicycle because I can't afford the fuel cost, or groceries for that matter. The $31 trillion with a T, trillion-dollar treasury market has an unequivocal message for Kevin Warsh's Federal Reserve. Rates aren't high enough. That's a report out of Bloomberg. So look for the Federal Reserve to use their tools, as they say. And one of those tools to try to control this out of control inflation would be raising interest rates. So the cost of borrowing money, it's looking like they're telegraphing, is going to increase here now in the near future as inflation is out of control. Nearly half of Americans say they're worse off financially now, today, than they were a year ago. And that's according to the New York Fed Rural Reserve, which is not federal and doesn't have any reserves. Inflation set to top 4%. I say quadruple that, bro. That's a unusual Wells. I say quadruple that number. And then the old classic shadowstats.com, where they tell you the real numbers here. And we can't get it because you have to subscribe to their service to get the up-to-date charts. But this gives us an example about the different calculations, the different equations they use to calculate inflation. And you can see right here the actual number. And again, this chart is obviously not current, but it shows you the three different calculations. And on the street level, Main Street, we're on the blue line here now of the actual inflation we're seeing at the grocery store and so on. The U.S. economy is on the precipice of a recession, Moody's top economist said today. Bro, Main Street is already in a recession and has been ever since the bat times. But it's coming out official. So they won't even be able to deny it and spin it. Gas stuck the same. The price for a gallon of gasoline, according to AAA national average, is $4.16. And I'd be willing to bet it's going to go up tomorrow after this heavy bombing campaign against Iran ongoing right now. So you can see right now, unchanged from yesterday at $4.16 on average across America. California, surprisingly enough, below $6. And in my favorite here, that will keep showing as long as the Iran war continues, out of Brown University, the Watson School of International and Public Affairs, the total consumer burden on Americans since the beginning of the Iran war on February 28th of the earlier this year. We're on day 102 now of the Iran war. Total consumer burden since the start of the war, $56.3 billion. And the per household cost burden across both gasoline and diesel is now up to $429.44 per household, as you can see right there. The Treasury Secretary Bissett, he doesn't know nothing. He said, I know nothing. The cost burden of the Iran war, barely $200. You won't even know it's ticking as fast as the interest on the national debt here now. The burden on the back of the American people. So Rockefeller oil oligarchs can profiteer. Trump can run 1 million inside trader scams, and all of his crew can profiteer. The rest of us suffer. on the back of lies of the same old routine, WMDs, Iran's going to nuke us tomorrow. Total, complete bullshit, lies. Trump's a war criminal. Pentagon adds Alibaba, Baidu, BYD to list of firms it claims aid the Chinese military. The U.S. Department of War has added major Chinese companies, including Alibaba, Baidu, and BYD. I remember that stupid BYD company because over here in California, our criminal governor, Gavin Newsom, during the bat times, bought $1 billion worth of these stupid masks. And it literally says on the box, not for stopping viral infections. I forget the exact language, but it literally says it doesn't work. And so a backhanded payoff by the state of California, Gavin Newsom governor, during the bat times to BYD, all operating in lockstep, because BYD is a freaking battery car company, but somehow they had $1 billion worth of these PPE masks just sitting there in their warehouse for Gavin Newsom to go and buy with California money during the bat times. So yeah, they're these companies are bad working with so we're not allowed to deal with them anymore. I wish they would have made this announcement during the bat times, Operation Lockstep, and then we wouldn't have had to buy those $1 billion worth of masks from them. Electric vehicle giant BYD predicts 80% of China car sales will soon be electric. And again, they're not electric cars, they're battery-powered cars. U.S. plots long energy war after failing to break Iran chokehold. Washington plans for a prolonged global energy crisis while downplaying the severe disruptions caused by the U.S. war against Iran. Speaking at the Atlantic Council Energy Forum yesterday, U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright admitted that normalizing regional energy flows could take months. The disruption spanned far beyond oil and gas to critical exports like helium and sulfur, highlighting the deep economic fallout of Washington's latest West Asian entanglement. Despite the supply shocks, Wright attempted to sanitize the aggression by claiming the soaring economic costs are wildly worth paying to neutralize Tehran. I don't give a damn about Tehran. I'm trying to afford groceries, bro. And they were not going to nuke us in 2 weeks. He insisted the global economy has absorbed the blows better than expected, relying on future production promises from Alaska, Guyana, we stole their oil, and Kuwait to paint a rosy picture of a well-supplied market. Wright also claimed that shipping traffic through the strategic Strait of Hormuz is rising very meaningfully. So they just go out there and lie right to your face and call you an Iranian terrorist if you call them liars, which they are. The vital waterway became a central flashpoint after Iran's IRGC restricted access. And we know that routine, right? We're in a Persian standoff. Khomeini is freaking supreme leader of Iran. We won the war, bro, 38 times on day 120. And we can't afford groceries over here. The energy shock that could accelerate a multipolar world. And again, and this speaks to what I've been saying on the show. This is at the very top levels, Operation Lockstep, China, Russia, America, Iran, for that matter, all these countries at the top levels through secret societies are working together on a power transfer from the West to the east, to China, Russia, all out multipolar world in a new era, in a new world order. As we continue to report here on Weaponized News, the energy shock that could accelerate a multipolar world. This report out of the Cradle, they say an energy crisis is taking shape that could reorder the global economy and accelerate the shift toward a multipolar world, with Iran controlling the Strait of Hormuz and the U.S. enforcing a blockade across the Persian Gulf. As many as 1/5 of global oil supply has been removed from the market. Even if shipping resumed tomorrow, the damage has already been done. Strategic reserves are being drained, supply chains are being disrupted, and oil production cannot simply be switched back on overnight. There will be many leaders, there will be many losers and few winners. Much of the world faces a new wave of inflation, economic stagnation, and social unrest. Africa is likely to bear the heaviest burden as fertilizer shortages drive food prices higher and deepen existing vulnerabilities. China and Russia stand to win. And again, I'm arguing it's by design at the very top levels, at the secret society level, which all of these top guys and all of these governments, all Operation Lockstep, are working together. China is the largest importer of oil and will, in short term, face setbacks, but it is also the biggest producer of green energy, with exports surging amid the oil crisis. As for Russia, it is the third largest producer of oil and second largest exporter in the world. And so we have schizophrenic foreign policy. We're in a proxy war via Ukraine with Russia. We're backhandedly funding the Russian war machine by pushing all this demand for oil to Russia. The government, they all need to be kicked out on their ass because they failed us now. They failed us. And they're profiteering. But again, there's a bigger game going on. Turkey and Saudi Arabia signaled a railway cooperation MOU agreement in Riyadh, advancing plans for the modern Hijaz Railway revival, a rail corridor linking Saudi Arabia through Jordan and Syria to Turkey. That's a report out of the Clash report. Here's a little map showing. Yeah, but just bomb all that. Why not? Don't we have a base right here? Yeah, close enough. I saw a terrorist bomb the thing. You know, it's just like rail line to extend from Saudi Arabia to Turkey as they're looking for alternative routes around the Strait of Hormuz. And now old Yemen Houthis have jumped into the war. And hey, these new bombing campaigns, I'm sure they're going to be all pissed off about it as per usual. So expect a hard time shipping anything through here. So this whole area, it's you try to drive your ship through there, you may be shot at and blown up by many different factions, by America, by Iran, by the Houthis, by freaking other militia groups, it's a disaster. It's a complete and utter disaster, all of our own making, all of Trump's making, all of war criminal Trump's making. You bomb civilian infrastructure, that makes you a war criminal. I'm not just saying fiery rhetoric to say it. I mean, that's what it is. So they're looking for all these alternative routes, trying to continue trade through the region with U.S. CENTCOM sitting on freaking top of the whole thing, beating our chest. America! I guess we're getting dead Iranians, so at least we got that, right? Man. Okay, a little bit more geopolitical news here now. Belfast attack. I don't know if you guys saw this. It's blowing up on the internet. Fire started in city. The Irish are starting to get fired up, so it's what we kind of need out of life. You know what I mean? 30-year-old man, and I saw the video. They beat him up, and a illegal alien there tried to behead him. A 30-year-old man has been charged with attempted murder after a knife attack in Belfast last night, as authorities call for calm with concerns of disorder right now. A fire has been started in the streets, and so they're running around burning. Well, here's a little report. Who's this out of? Sky News? Here's a little report about it. And see what's going on over there.
We're in the east of the city on Lower Newtonards Road. Let me just move out because we can see that in the distance a bus has been set on fire here. This was the shots that we've been seeing from the helicopter over the last half an hour or so, where sort of 200 or 300 people have been gathering. It rained and the numbers thinned out, and then people moved further down the road. You can hear some of those explosions in the distance there. We've heard a few, what we suspect to be the sort of petrol tanks of the bus and potentially some surrounding vehicles exploding. We think this fire started from a bin, potentially, that was close to the bus, but we're not sure on that. But you can see there that we think a double-decker bus, but certainly a large bus, completely engulfed in flames, and a lot of the crowds have moved down the road. You know, we're keeping a distance here. It is a sensitive situation, and people are not too happy with photos and pictures being taken, but we're bringing these pictures because they are, of course, significant, and this comes just an hour or so, as you say, after the 30-year-old man of Sudanese descent has been charged with attempted murder and other offences, and he will appear in court here in Belfast tomorrow. But you can see here,
he snuck that in. Sudanese man. Masked men condemned over disorder in Northern Ireland. They're all pissed off because that I don't even know if it was illegal, what his immigration status was, but a Sudanese, a black dude, freaking beat up and tried to almost behead. He almost did behead an Irishman over there. And so that got the people all pissed off, as it should, rightfully so. They say, as expected, protesters started lighting stuff on fire in the Sky News report. Yeah. Did they put the actual... There's video of it. Yeah. So that's going on. Heavy protests. What's going on in Russia, Ukraine, our proxy war that we kind of... It's there somewhere. We keep funding it. Congress voted to send him a bunch of more money yesterday, I believe. Zelensky today says Europe can't just mediate, to my mind, because Europe stands on our side. If EU mediates, it means they will think about whether to put sanctions or not, because they're mediators. They have to be in the middle. Europe has power to stop Putin, Zelensky claims. So that's bad. Russia bombed Ukraine again. When was it? Yesterday or last couple days here now, killing a bunch of civilians. It's horrific. It's freaking horrific. It needs to stop. Doesn't look like it's going to stop. It doesn't look like it's going to stop. Zelensky was out there at a major press conference with a bunch of EU Nazis. talking about, yeah, it's horrific. Stop it. And we know Putin's evil, but stop Russia-Ukraine war. Hey, America, how about stop funding the whole thing? That could help as well. It continues here. We had some hopes for peace, but same with Iran. We had some hopes for peace, but not so much. IRGC declares a new regional security belt extending from Strait of Hormuz to Red Sea. The commander of Iran's IRGC, Quds Force, Ismail Qani, announced earlier today the creation of a, quote, new security belt managed by the Axis of Resistance spanning from Strait of Hormuz to the Bab-al-Mandab Strait. I know I butchered that. This strategic corridor encompassing the Persian Gulf and Red Sea is designed to counter military action by Aardvarkland and America. We have a little map there. Did they give us a map? Well, we showed it on the map. It's like you got Houthis right there, right? You can show it on this map. You got the Yemen. You got Yemen right there with the Houthis. And they're like, bro, you drive through the Red Sea, right? You drive through the Red Sea, we're whacking you. And then you got Iran that built their country around their military right there. And they're like, bro, you drive through there, we're whacking you. And so they're controlling that region. I know they shouldn't be controlling their own land, damn terrorists, but they are. And they got a bunch of weapons as well. It's an engineered famine by design. All right. At the top levels of this whole one world government power structure that we're currently under. Meme of the day by the Department of War here now. We have a few memes. They're pimping out the Department of War. Shocking, I know. The American war fighter. The American war fighter, undefeated and undisputed champs for 250 years, the American war fighter. I'm sad to report here, we couldn't even defeat the Houthis in Yemen last year. We can't even defeat the ISIS terrorists in freaking Somalia living in caves, bro. Just give it up on the propaganda already. It's freaking painful. America first. Meme of the day here. America first from the Department of War. The Department of War live right now. Let's see. Are they giving us any updates? Probably not. We got to go to U.S. Central Command. They posted 4 hours. We read that posting. They say U.S. completes strikes in response to Iran's attack on Apache. And then Iran said they're going to retaliate back. And then we have to retaliate back and so on and so forth. And we're in a giant freaking war. You know what I mean? So, not looking good. We're killing Iranians, I guess. That's really all that matters. Yeah. 2 dead Iranians here. The Iranian army announced 2 martyrs during yesterday's Aardvarkland aggression on Iran. Oh, Aardvarkland's bombing Iran too, as well as us here, America. So we got 2 dead Iranians and we can't afford groceries. So winning. So they whacked those Iranians. The Iranian hacker group collective Handala warns the U.S. Army that in the event of any action, this was earlier today before the military action, they will have to retrieve the bodies of their service members from its most secret bases in the region, including what they refer to as Secret Base 422. The Handler group is out there leaking. They're doxing U.S. service personnel. They're doxing a bunch of Americans over there in the region. I know. We need to get them out of their own country. And so they're doing their hacker cyber attack missions for the Iranians against us. Aardvark land occupation forces assault miners during a recent incursion into southern Syria. Aardvark land occupation forces raided the area of West al-Rafid in the southern countryside of Syria yesterday, where they reportedly beat 4 miners and confiscated their mobile phones. The assault follows a separate operation the day before, so Sunday, in the village of Al-Hurriya, which involved over 30 soldiers and 5 military vehicles conducting searches of local homes. These raids are part of a broader pattern of near daily military incursions, raids, and detentions carried out by Aardvark land forces in southern Syria. And we even have our own ISIS, Al-Qaeda terrorist puppet president in Syria. They're still doing this. Where you at, Al-Qaeda, bro? You know what I mean? He's cleaned up, trimmed his beard, put on a suit and tie. It's a fine, upstanding young man now. Al-Shara, the literal Al-Qaeda self-appointed president of Syria. Imagine that. Imagine that. So ongoing leveling of southern Lebanon. Here's some video from attacks earlier today. They're leveling the joint. Imagine that. You're just like, yeah, whatever. Oh, there's a giant hole in the side of my house because Aardvarks decided to blow it up. Well, they're the good guys, as we all know. Wave of mass displacement, i.e. ethnic cleansing, hits Lebanon's Tyre district as Aardvark land massacres continue. Yeah, they're just leveling the place. There you go. There's an image. The Aardvark land army issued new forced displacement orders against Lebanese civilians in southern Lebanon's ancient city of Tyre earlier today, prompting the residents to flee in panic. They literally tell them, leave or die, and you may still die. So over 1 million Lebanese now have been ethnically cleansed out of southern Lebanon. As we continue to report here, this is the latest evacuation orders issued in Tyre, Lebanon. Some more footage of bombings there. Their camera went upside down there. They're leveling the place. Aardvark land attacks in Lebanon killed 29 people, Lebanese, and wounded 133 other Lebanese in the past 24 hours. The total from Aardvark land attacks since March 2nd has risen to 3,666 dead Lebanese and 11,321 wounded Lebanese across Lebanon, according to the Lebanese Ministry of Health. Here's a pretty big explosion we can see in this clip. No audio on this, it's short, but yeah, they're really leveling the entire place there systematically. And they're going beyond the Litani River. More footage from Courtney Banu. They're on the ground. Here's some of the footage.
هذه ضربة سور الدفاع عن المدني الاثنين كشف عليها ولا يوجد إصابات. تكلمنا
Kaboom! Right there, they're taking all that land. Leave or die is what they tell the people. And now Ben Gavir's threatening to kidnap the women and children. We'll get to that report. I think it's coming up here is why I mentioned it. Or maybe it's toward the end. Trying to get through this as fast as possible. Thank you for bearing with me. It's all just so quite horrific now. Just another report here detailing all the different places. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce all their names, but it's ongoing. All these different towns, villages in Lebanon, southern Lebanon now. They just list a whole bunch of them. I'll put the links up at Weaponized News Substack channel, or you could search it out yourself, obviously, and find it. But it's a systemic campaign here now. Oh, here it is. Great segue. Aardvark land minister calls for kidnapping of Lebanese women and children to break Hezbollah morale. Aardvark land National Security Minister Ben Gvir urged the political security cabinet to abduct and imprison Lebanese women and children as a psychological warfare tactic against Hezbollah, according to a closed-door leak published by Hebrew news outlet Walla. During a high-level ministerial meeting reviewing expanded military calculations, Ben Gvir demanded that Tel Aviv abandon conventional strategy and explicitly target the social and familial core of the Lebanese resistance network. We must think outside the box regarding Hezbollah, Ben Gvir asserted to his fellow cabinet members. According to the report, the Aardvark land minister added that alongside occupying southern territory and intensifying lethal strikes on personnel, Aardvark land forces should actively round up civilians. We should arrest their women and children and take them to prison. This is what hurts them the most, Ben Gvir stated. And of course, Ben Gvir is the executioner, celebrating his 50th birthday with a noose and freaking 2 pistols on his birthday cake, and proudly showing off the gallows they've created there to carry out the final solution on Palestinian prisoners. The Knesset has approved, fronted by Ben Gvir proudly. What war crime? They're literally brainstorming. What war crime haven't we done that we can do? What evil, right? That's Ben Gvir and the Aardvark land war cabinet. What evil have we not done to these people yet? I know. Let's kidnap the women and children, and of course they're gonna rape them and torture them and the whole routine. Hezbollah is ongoing operations there, trying to defend Lebanon. Hezbollah announced 5 more operations. It's ongoing. It's a fluid situation, as you could say, as they say. But ongoing. 9 more operations. So it's ongoing. They're Hezbollah. And Lebanese government's like, bro, we're puppets. Just come take the land, kidnap the women and children. You know what I mean? Hezbollah is literally the only thing standing in the way, or actually offering some level of defense for the Lebanese people. It's quite a sight to see here now. So ongoing war there between Aardvark land forces and Hezbollah, and maybe now and again Lebanese army guy will shoot a gun in there. I don't know. It doesn't look like Lebanese army's doing much to defend against Aardvark land ground invasion. According to Aardvark land military, 48 officers and soldiers have been wounded in southern Lebanon in the past 5 days. That's Aardvark soldiers, bro. They're stacking Lebanese bodies. They're stacking Aardvark bodies. They're stacking Iranian bodies. They're stacking Palestinian bodies. Just freaking stop. They can't. They're possessed by evil and bloodlust for genocide. Oh my gosh. It just goes on and on and on. So you got a bunch of dead Aardvarks now too. They're stacking bodies everywhere. The death toll of Lebanese just keeps on spinning. Pretty soon it'd be like interest on the debt or cost burden for the Iran war. Of the body count just. But we got to get those damn Islamic terrorists. Huh? Well, there's a bunch of Christians there too that maybe these Christian Zionists in America should care about. You would think. Nah, they don't give a damn. Metropolitan Archbishop of South Lebanon's Tyre for the Melkite Greek Catholic Church, Georges Iskandar, said, that's this dude. Let me show him to you. So this Orthodox Christian dude, you would think fellow Christians would give a damn that they're killing a bunch of Christians. They don't give a damn because they love the freaking whole routine that we continue to go over. Anyhow, he said, in these difficult days that our beloved southern Lebanon is going through, we affirm that we are staying in the city of Tyre. They're going to whack this dude. Among our families and our people, just as our father and grandfather stayed before us, and just as the steadfast people of the South remain today in their lands, villages, and cities. Our presence among the people is not a temporary choice, but rather a part of our mission and our national humanitarian and spiritual duty. Just as we share joys with our people, we also share their anxiety, suffering, and hope. We will not leave this city, which was blessed by the footsteps of Jesus Christ, and which throughout history has borne witness to faith and resilience. We raise our prayers for the protection of all civilians and that God may spare our city and the entire South from the woes of war and destruction, and grant officials the wisdom and courage to work toward preserving people's lives and protecting their homes and livelihoods. We remain together in solidarity and hand in hand, believing that love is stronger than fear and that hope is stronger than any threat. Tyre will remain the city of life, and its land will remain vibrant with its people and its children. Again, this guy, Catholic, Greek Catholic church here now, said that. I'll probably whack this dude. Again, where's the Christians here in America? Oh, we already know the routine. Well, they're bulldozing. They're now in the occupied West Bank. This is like a back. Well, they got a bunch of heavy equipment, backhoes, bulldozers. And they're leveling the place. You're like, no, that's perfectly good. No, it's not perfectly good. That's these ultra-Zionist settlers in the occupied West Bank. You'd think they would at least want to keep that nice little parking garage, little open barn deal. You know what I mean? Nah, they're leveling the entire place. Aardvark Land Forces said they carried out a strike in southern Gaza on Monday, killing two Palestinians that were part of the Islamic Jihad armed resistance movement. They're still whacking Palestinians. According to Gaza's Ministry of Health, in the past 24 hours, 8 Palestinians have been killed, with another 34 wounded. And again, since the ceasefire, October 11th, between Palestine and Aardvark Land has killed 978 Palestinians, wounded 3,097, and 782 have been recovered from the rubble. Since October 7th, 2023, 72,988 Palestinians have been killed. That's your official body count. It's going to click over here to 73,000, I'd say in a few days, if not today, anytime in the next very short time. It's going to kick over to 73,000 dead Palestinians and 173,205 injured since October 7th, 2023 there, as the genocide continues, tragically enough. We're almost done here. It's a lot to take. It is a lot to take, I must admit. France bans Aardvark Land finance minister Smotrich from entering French territory alongside 4 settler organization leaders and 21 violent settlers coordinating with the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Norway. France has already banned Ben Gvir in May. So we're going to put sanctions on UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Norway, and France, right? And May, we're looking at plans for bombing them as well for this transgression against Smotrich and Ben Gvir. America's top security guy and America's top finance guy. Where are we at? Oh, we got more videos of ultra Zionist settlers in the occupied West Bank kicking Palestinians out of their house. Do we even show it? Throwing rocks at them. Final report here, and we'll wrap up this broadcast. Aardvark Land has issued a seizure order for privately owned Palestinian land in Jinnah to build a military base. According to 972 Plus magazine, marking what researchers say is the first such move in Area A since the Oslo Accords in 1995 established the territory as an area under full Palestinian civil and security control. The land is located in Al Jabariyat, overlooking Jenin refugee camp, where Aardvark land forces have displaced tens of thousands of Palestinians during their ongoing operations in the occupied West Bank in the north. Residents say the order threatens one of the few assets many families have left after their homes in the camps were destroyed. Rights groups warn the move is part of a broader effort to expand Aardvark land military occupation and settler control around Jenin. They're taking everything for the greater Aardvark land project as we continue to report. As they've continually stated, this is the agenda. It's painful to watch them carry it out. And that's where we're at here now. We should probably, if we have any morality whatsoever left, denounce this and say it's wrong. And in reality, we should be liberating the Palestinians, dare I say, against the clear aggressor. The United Nations should. The EU should. If we're righteous, moral, of liberal Western values, as they claim, as all these institutions claim, they would be liberating the Palestinians right now, but that's obviously not happening because their claims of righteousness are a lie. All right, friends, let's see who'd they whack or blow up. And since we've been live, obviously I can't check the live feeds. Going to Iran International now. Top headlines: U.S. strikes near Strait of Hormuz. Iran vows no strike will go unanswered. IRGC claims strike on U.S. base in Jordan. It's already, right? It's already going on. And it's exactly, it's a big surprise. This is exactly what they said they're going to do. As we continue to report here, Bahrain activates alarm sirens, urges residents to seek shelter. IRGC claims shot down U.S. MQ-9 drone over southern Iran. The CENTCOM says strikes against Iran completed, as I reported that statement from CENTCOM a little bit earlier. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. It's ongoing. It's hot right now. So hey, anything can happen here now. Anything can happen. It's hot shooting all over the Persian Gulf now. Again. On day 102 of the Iran war. Peace, bro. Peace. Peace, bro. They won't let us have it. Let's pray for peace. They won't let us have it. Iran's IRGC says U.S. fleet in Bahrain targeted after southern Iran attacked. It's Al Jazeera headlines. Iran responding swiftly to U.S. attacks designed to detour, quote, new normal. They use that term on Al Jazeera. That's pretty funny. Remember, new normal of the bat times? Everybody has bat phobia. It's the new normal. Now we just bomb the hell out of each other. It's the new normal. Iran threatens wider escalation following retaliatory U.S. strikes. So it's ongoing. All of our bases and assets are targets. Iran has already said they're in the Persian Gulf, in the region. So it's ongoing. It's ongoing as I sign off here on day 102 of the Iran war, which Trump claimed we had won, or peace talks were imminent 38 times. Now we're in a very hot war now again. Okay, over to the Odysee channel. Let's see how the chat is doing over there, if there is any. Hopefully there is. We can get some good comments per usual. Let's see. Shout out to John, Deep, Crema, Danger. Wow, you guys had quite a chat. Pink Vegas, shout out to Pink Vegas. I visited Long Beach in 1978, and it was all white people and pretty girls. Now it's black helicopters and graffiti and junkies. Let's see. Hey, you guys got a good chat. I appreciate that. Very cordial, very informative, very adult. Imagine that, adult, being adult, mature, and having respect for people on the internet. Well, we have that in the Odysee chat in large part. So I appreciate you guys over there. That's a rarity actually nowadays on the internet. Deep says if it doesn't exist like Epstein files and Hunter Biden, then it was CP and incriminating PDFs on it. Hunter Biden laptop had nothing to do with government corruption. Politicians don't care about corruption, and people are simping for that rapist because of a few insincere posts. Yeah, there's a thing for those not on X. Hunter Biden saying, quote, based comments, and like has a bunch of people all riled up. Oh, he's freaking one of us. He's Joe Blows. And no, don't forget about, they're all in this. They're all the same bloodline. They're all the same bloodline. And so just point that out when some based dude from the establishment comes out and is based. They're all the same bloodline. They're actors, and they're feeding us a bunch of psyops. Give me a freaking break. Hunter Biden's not even saying he's born again, right? He's just pointing out the obvious. People are like, whoa. Yeah, dude's pointing out the obvious. What a great hero. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculousness. Let's see here now. But I did see that. Deep. People talking about it. And I did see a couple of his posts. I was like, whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Danger, the PCR test is another. They even admit to false positives. They even admit it. Take the fraud, right? Yeah, pretty much. Bombing schools is also a war crime, and Trump began with that sacrifice. And assassinating heads of state is also a war crime, I believe. So we're stacking up war crimes. Trump is stacking up the war crimes indeed. There, John, good point. To kick this whole thing off with a war crime. We had to preemptively strike Iran or they were going to nuke us. That's the story that Trump keeps telling. No evidence. Our own government says that's not true. Unbelievable. Gavir wants to take families as hostages because the cowards of the IDF cannot fight like real men of Hezbollah. John said, That sounds pretty terrorist, what Ben Gvir is proposing there, doesn't it? I would say so. Shout out to Pink Vegas there. John says we need publicly funded elections in which television advertising is prohibited. If we have to go to the internet sites too, and prohibiting dual citizens from holding any public office. They all play in the same sandbox. Well, there's a lot of reforms that need to be done, but obviously it's not going to happen because that would interrupt the corruption train, wouldn't it? And someone somewhere in some position of authority and influence would get in trouble for the legion of crimes committed against Joe Blow, you and I, citizens around the world, but there's a small group that has a mind control. All of the tagline for the show, break the mind control. How could they possibly do this? Well, they're dark occultists, master psychologists, mind controllers that a small group can control what, 8 whatever billion of the rest of us. So if we can break that mind control, the spell they have upon us, then we could actually have some true and meaningful reform. Until then, the mind control continues until morale improves. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee, Kick, X, Facebook, Substack, YouTube, and Rumble. Let me scroll like halfway up there. Let's see. Shout out to Fat Bob, Mac on the YouTube. Shout out to A-Dub. Says A-Dub says, can't we just enjoy this beautiful world and get along? Unreal. I'm telling you, man. Unreal. Killing Iranians are all that matters, Sam. Fat Bob says, yes. They mention names like in the Apache attack. It's me. I pray for grace for America. Man, do we even, I debate, do we even deserve grace at this point? Kind of starting to feel like we don't. Fat Bob said Lucifer 2, I'd say Satan, but Lucifer is mentioned in their ceremonies. Yeah. The who these dark occultists, what the entity or spirit call it, or mindset, you could call it mindset. It's all of those things. That's what these social engineer controllers, that is their mindset, and their spirit is of Lucifer per them, right, Fat Bob? So that is correct, I would say. Shout out to Ruckus. Says if they're the good guys, I don't want to be the bad guys. Oh, I don't want to see the bad guys. No, Ruckus, they're the good guys. They've told us, right? They beat us over the head with, don't be a bigot. So we're liberal, not bigots, but pointing out that, hey, they're murdering people is not good. But yeah, they're the good guys still. It's all justified through all their, we know the routine, right? The whole cooked up. Everybody's a terrorist. They're the good guys. So, let's see. Shout out to Silver. I just went through airport screening. Oh my God, what a joke. Australia, you are a joke. Poor Silver had to get shook down at the airport. My condolences for you. They're still just trying to go about, about some transportation. You got to get shook down and the whole routine. Wretched Goy, shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. And then shout out to Plutonium on the YouTube. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. A-Dub says Ben Stiller is Hunter Biden. They are sickos, right? They're sickos. Sickos. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News on day 102 of the Iran war. It's looking to go hot and heavy, so we'll have a bunch more tomorrow. As always, everybody do your own research, peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening, and we'll be back here on Wednesday for more Weaponized News. Let's pray for peace. Let's pray for peace, especially there in Iran, because it's looking like it's getting real hot. Have a great rest of your evening. We'll see you tomorrow for more Weaponized News.